Alrighty, so today I'm going to show you the navigational tools on the iPad, just because when you get your iPhone, this is going to be very beneficial in case you don't have the malwares in the truck. So if you get stuck, you know you can get access through Telstra on the iPad and iPhone just to have a look where you're going to go. So if ever you get stuck, you know that you've got this as a second base.
Okay.
Alrighty, so every iPad and iPhone's got their own apps. So you can choose to go through the internet and use Google Maps, or you can use the maps and navigation tools that are available to you on the iPad and iPhone.
What's the apps then?
So the apps are these little icons here.
Oh, yeah.
So these are called applications, which have got, say, you know, this one's got the weather, this one's games, for example, your music, your contacts, in case you don't have your briefcase on you, you can have your contacts stored in there. And this one is your map one. So these all come equipped with the iPad or iPhone, so you don't have to install them yourself.
Okay.
Right? So as long as you got your internet on, you've got access. If you don't, then you have to sort of scroll through it yourself, which is like having the malwares. Alrighty, so if we click on maps, so what I'll do is I'll show you what I would do first, and then I'll get you to copy later, just so you can have a better understanding.
Okay.
Alrighty, so this little blue icon is where you are.
Yeah.
Just in case you get lost or you're not quite sure. Obviously, you being a truck driver, you know most of the main roads, so you know obviously that's Macedon Street there. You know, if you don't need it for anything else, you can just shut it off and be happy as Larry. Otherwise, if you don't have the malwares and you need to know where you're going to go, you just select this box here with the little search thing. If you've got something in it, you just have to erase it all, which will be that X button. So it's
Yes.
get rid of. So you just hold that down. We'll get rid of everything in there. And then you type in your address. So have you got an address in mind that you'd like to use?
Cranbourne Racecourse.
Alrighty, so if we write in Cran, oops. Now obviously I may have spelt it wrong, which I think I have. There we go, so it'll say the Cranbourne Races or the Cranbourne Racetrack, which would be the same. So you just click on either one. It takes you to where it is. So does that look right? It's a racetrack cafe.
Yeah.
Yeah?
That's where we stopped first thing.
That's good to know. So obviously you can, by doing that from each side, you can minimize the screen so it looks like you can see it from all ends there. So obviously that'll be the raceway there.
Yes.
And then you get a better idea. If you want to have a look closer,
you
just scroll out using your fingers that way. Alright, so that'll be the same on the iPhone. You just use your finger, obviously because it's a small screen, just to widen it that way. And then back again. So you can either, from now, you can click on this directions button up here.
Yes.
To get a view of which way you're going to go. So it'll mark it out in a blue line, or you can press the little drive car there.
Oh, yeah.
Alrighty. So I might just do little drive car. So what it'll do is it'll give you a few routes on which you can use. It'll highlight which one is the best one to use. So it'll be Route 1, which is the darker blue one. And you've got Route 2, which takes you around Don Vale, and the other one around Maribyrnong. So it depends to you which way you want to go, which way is going to be less traffic, quicker, whichever.
Yep.
It'll tell you up here, if you can't read it quickly, if you want to see it quickly, up the top here it'll say, this is the first of 3 suggested routes. So you know that there are 3 different ways to get to Cranbourne. It'll say it's going to take you an hour and 15. It'll always take into account the traffic, any tolls that you've got to go through. If you want to avoid tolls, it'll give you more routes and different ways to go.
Yep.
So that's your main way. So if I wanted to have a look, instead of having a look at this, I could press this layout button here.
Yes.
And it'll tell me turn right on Macedon Street. It'll actually word the directions for you.
Oh, okay.
So whichever one works better for you, if you can work with it visually, you work with it visually.
Yep.
Otherwise, you can just read down here and scroll up, and see, okay, look, this is going to take me 9 kilometres to get off Gippsland
Yep,
Gippsland Highway. It'll take you to your destination either way. If we were to use the actual computer, which you've got in the back room there, you could print out this list, and then it saves you having to have the screen to scroll.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So that's up to you. That's your preference there. Otherwise, you can start the route by pressing the start button or this little navigational tool here, which will then take you through it and say, all right, you can turn right here and yada yada.
Okay.
You can put it into 3D mode as well, which will make it sort of, like you're actually floating through the screen, which is
Will it make me see?
fun, possibly. But you'll find in the car, if the iPad or iPhone moves, it'll just swap direction.
Oh yeah.
So it'll never, and as you move, the screen will move. So once you start the navigation, it won't just stop here. The blue dot follows, and the screen will follow the blue dot as it goes down.
Okay.
So you don't have to start the you don't have to actually have the navigation going. If you don't want something to be distracting you in the truck, you can just go like this and obviously scroll down and see which roads you're taking. This way it's sort of like reading the motorways as well.
Okay.
As this is not a Google Map application, with Google Maps you can make it look like the landmarks. So you can go through it this way, but it'll show you what the houses you'll be passing, what post office you'll be passing, just so you got an idea of
Takeaway shop.
Yeah, which takeaway shops will be available. Just so if it's easier for you than to just flick through and go, oh, I know I forgot to pass this, I've passed it. That way you don't have to know all the rest of that. But yes, once you've finished, obviously got to your destination, it will say, would you like to exit the application? You just simply press exit.
Okay.
Right.
And where's that?
Oh, that'll happen once you get to your destination, which we're not getting to at the moment, but that'll have to do. So yeah, do you have any questions at the moment? No? Alright, so what we'll do is if we press clear, that'll get rid of the route there. You can get rid of 3D and make it look normal. So here we are. So that's where we are. And now I'll get you to go through it. Okay, so I'll get out of the application and I'll get you to go through it now.
Okay, so we press that.
Yep.
And
so this is just letting you know where you are.
Yes. So what do you want to do now?
You want to type in where you're going to go.
Okay, so we get rid of this.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So to get rid of it, you just press the black button. Yep.
Ah, yep.
Press hold it down until you get rid of all the words.
Ah, yes.
Yep. And now you'll pop in, we should use a different address.
Yep.
Just so you can get used to it.
Okay.
Now to get numbers, sorry, just to interrupt, you can press the 1, 2, 3 button there. So
no, I don't need any numbers.
No worries.
Okay, so we go to High Street, Preston.
Alrighty, so type that in.
Do you got any spices on this?
Yep, I'll just go back and press that. So you just press the big bar there, which is the space button.
Yep. Street, is that enough? Street? Or have to spell the whole street? That'll do.
Yeah, oh no, spell the whole street.
Oh.
Yeah. Just because there will be a few high streets in Victoria.
Where are you?
Just that.
Ah.
And then press space and then spell Preston. There we are, it's come up.
Oh.
So you can just press the red. Yep.
Okay.
There you go. So that's going to show you obviously where it is.
Excuse me.
Now.
So what's the reason that thing stops just there?
So that's the landmark that tells you exactly where you are.
Right.
You can change the direction of where you're going to go. Obviously, you can change where the landmark is. I'm pretty
Yes.
sure you can, in some instances, you can move it.
Move it to go a bit further down or wherever you
Yeah,
wanted
but it's
it.
just depending on how you set up the iPad.
Yep.
Obviously, this iPad's been set up so you can't move it, and that's just the spot you're going to go
Takes
to.
takes you to the address where you typed it.
Yeah. Now, as you can see, it's gotten rid of where the
Yes.
landmark is. So you've just got to click on the little red man.
Yes.
That's what I'm going to call him, and this way you can start all over. Start the navigation.
Oh, okay.
So you can obviously go through directions or the little car.
Yes.
It's up to you which one you feel comfortable with.
I feel like a little red car or whatever color. Yeah.
So this is showing you where you're going to go.
Oh yeah. So that's from where I'm leaving.
Yep.
To where I get to the destination.
So the little green
Yes.
pin is where you are.
Yes.
And the red pin is where you want to
So
be.
destination. Yeah. Okay.
Now, as I showed you before, the lighter blue is
Yes.
the alternate
Alternative
routes.
routes. Yeah. Which way you can go.
Yep. So
Colder. Yes.
so if you said, for example, you wanted to do the second route, you just would click on it.
Ah yes.
And it
And
would
then
hide,
changes.
yeah.
Yes. And then if you wanted to see it better, you could just enclose the screen.
Yep, exactly.
Okay.
And then you can move it so you can see the entire.
Okay.
And then up here, it'll tell you how long.
Yes.
So if you wanted to check all routes and see how long, which one was quickest, you could just do that, and it'll say, for example, this one says 36 for route 2. For route 1, just click on that. That's 36 minutes. And route 3 is 40 minutes. So
Okay.
route 3 is the longest one.
So what would happen if it's an accident on any of those? Would I show you?
Yes, you can have your app set up to tell you this. So what it would do is it would connect with Vic Roads, and it would just, the satellite would then tell you, you've got to avoid this road, please take this alternate road. So then if you wanted to avoid tolls, for example, you could also have that, and it would take you through it would give you more suggestions that way. It would also tell you where more traffic is. So if you wanted to avoid the traffic also, it would give you a different direction.
Fair enough.
So you can say specifically when you set up your iPhone, when you do get it, you can say, I don't want to go through traffic and I don't want to go through tolls. And it won't show you the direct way. It'll show you a different way.
Ah, yes.
Which will be longer.
Obviously.
Yes.
Obviously. Okay.
Alrighty. So start the navigation. As I showed you, you can either press start or the little route man.
Okay.
Beautiful. So this is now going to give you the idea of what it's going to look like, how it's going to be.
Right.
Sometimes it'll be a person talking to you. You don't have to have that.
You done it, yes.
But as you go, it'll change. So you can obviously flick through it now, and it'll show you as you go down, or as you're driving, it'll just change itself.
Right.
Yep.
What a technology.
I know. So yes, like I said, if you don't have your Melways on you, this is just an alternative way. Alternative means also just to put your iPhone on the dashboard, or to put your iPad on the dashboard and have it move and go with you.
Fair enough.
Now with the roundabouts, some will say take the third exit. On the iPads and iPhones, I know that they do say the third exit is straight ahead.
Right.
And sometimes on the other type of phones, which are called Androids, they'll say the second exit, which will be straight ahead. So depending on which phone you have at the time, for example, you didn't have your iPhone on you, you've got one of, the Android phones.
Yes.
You can, you have to understand that it'll talk differently to you. It'll tell you different ways of going through the roundabout.
Okay, fair enough.
So is this all straightforward?
Yes, yes.
You? Is there any questions? Do you have any curiosity into...
No, darling, not at all.
No?
Till the first time I started using it, and we'll see how we go.
Definitely.
No,
so what I'll do is I'll check back with you every time you do use this application, possibly while you go on your first
trip.
I can sit with you while you do it yourself. I won't mention or say anything. I'll just see how you go.
Yes.
I'll leave it with you for a few weeks and check back with you and see how you've gone and if you still prefer the Melways or the iPad.
No
But
problem.
yes,
Thank
hopefully
you.
this helps you out in many other ways.
Thank you very much for your help.
No worries at all. Thank you for
No
your
worries.
time.
Not a problem.